Hello, this is Chuck Ridgway, Automation Technology Manager at Horner. Thanks for joining us for another Tuesday live stream. Well, today we've got a short but interesting topic. Here it is. Using the case instruction in IEC structured text. Just a note, it probably would be more correct to say the case statement. Now, I hadn't really worked with the case statement much, but I was talking with one of my colleagues, John Seymour, who's a longtime OCS application engineer and a longtime fan of IEC and structured text. And he was showing me how the case statement can really be useful for things like just really simple recipe type control. So we're going to review that statement with you today. Now, I am battling a cold and I apologize in advance for my voice, but we're going to battle through it, and it's a short topic, so I should be okay. All right, let's go ahead and break down today's topic. We're going to start by answering the question, what is the case statement? How is it used? We'll give you an application example and a demonstration. Here we go. What is the case statement? Well, it's a structured text statement which executes a block of statements based on a selector value. Now, if all you need to do is execute statements based on one or the other value, then, the if then else is probably the way to go. It's a statement we're all familiar with, we use very regularly, and for handling a couple different conditions, it's a good way to go. However, if your decision tree is a little more complicated than that, if there's more cases, if you will, then the case statement is something you should evaluate. So that's what we're going to do today. Okay, so let's take a look at how the case statement is used. In other words, we're going to take a look at the syntax. All right, so at the top line there, you can see case and then a selector variable followed by of. Now that selector variable, if it's a variable, has to be a double integer, but it can also be a double integer expression. So keep that in mind as well. And then in the lines following that, basically what you have are selector values followed by a colon. Now, if it's just a single selector value, the value of that double integer, then you just put that number followed by the colon. And then of course, to the right there, you can see the list of statements that'll be executed for that case. Now, it also supports a list of values separated by a comma, and then of course a colon after the last value. That's handy. It also supports a range of values where you've got the first value in the range and the final value in the range. In between of those, you've got a couple of periods. And then you also can combine the list and the range for another case. So you can see the flexibility in this statement is really excellent. And then of course, if none of those values are met in the list at the top there, then you've got your else condition, which takes care of everything else. Okay, so really a very handy statement. And you can see it ends there with end underscore case. And of course, don't forget your semicolons. Those are always important. Now, an important note, and that is this. If you are using the range of values, you've got those two periods in between your first and last value. Make sure you have a space before and a space after those periods for the proper syntax. Okay, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and get right to our demonstration of the case statement. All right, here I am in Cscape 10, but if you're using an earlier version of Cscape, everything I am showing you here is going to apply to that as well. Okay, so here I have my case statement. All right, starting at the top here, and my selector value is from a variable called product, and it is a double integer variable. And then down here, I have a series of different cases, and when each of these cases are true, we're going to execute these statements, the list that's shown here. Now, these all happen to be just simple assignment statements, but they can be much more complex than that. This is just my simple example. Now here, I've got a single value option here at the top. I have a list of values here and here, and I have a combination of a range of values between 2 and 7, as well as a list of values, including 15 and 16. So again, the flexibility of this statement is really pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go into debug mode and then check out the bench. All right, so here's our example screen, and my product number is just selected at 0 right now. So let me go ahead and change that. Let's go ahead and go to number 1. And if our product has a number of 1, that means we should be blue with that mix. Well, let's head back to Cscape and check that out. And sure enough, the product variable has a value of 1, which means that first case is being executed there. Okay, and that's giving us the values that we see on the screen. Okay, let's change to a different product value. This time let's go all the way up, let's say to 6. All right, and you notice possibly that I'm using the spinner option on this data field in this particular case, and that is an option that's only available with Cscape 10 and Canvas. Okay, so when I select product number 6, that gives me a green color with its mix of pigments. And if we head back to Cscape, we can see that a product of 6 falls within the range of 2 to 7. Okay, so that's why we end up with our color of green. All right, so really pretty straightforward stuff here. Let's do one more example. Let's change to a color of 14. Okay, so let me go up here and select color number 14, and that means amber. And if we go back and look at our logic here, we can see, sure enough, a value of 14 falls within this case, which gives us our color of 4 and the mix of pigments for amber. All right, sounds good. All right, so hopefully you found this video useful as an introduction of the case statement. So possibly in your next IEC program, you can find a use for this very flexible statement. Okay, this is the part of our program where I remind you we're here just about every Tuesday at 2 o'clock, either fully live or pre-recorded, but in either case, we always have someone standing by to answer your questions Tuesday at 2 o'clock. And if you are checking out one of our videos on replay, just give us comments and questions in the comment section, and we'll get back to you just as soon as we can, usually within a working day or so. Okay, the training schedule's posted. Don't forget to sign up for that. Training is pretty valuable stuff, and the seats do fill up, so plan ahead and get your seat reserved. Okay, lots of chances to see Horner in person this year, not only at training, but also with trade shows. So we've posted our trade show schedule. We'd love to see you at one of these events in 2025. Okay, lots of ways to interact with Horner Automation on our website at hornerautomation.com, on our YouTube channel. We're also very active on LinkedIn. Okay, next week, we've got a fun program for you. We are going to review 2024, both from a product standpoint and from a channel standpoint. We're going to have some fun, so I would encourage you to join us this upcoming Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Okay, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, don't hesitate to do so. It doesn't cost anything. And if you choose notifications when you subscribe, you'll be notified every time we go live or every time we post a new video. Okay, so until next week, when we look backwards at 2024, let's all get out there and do us some good.